everybody, welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I'm your host, John Maffio, and today's featured film is Alien Covenant, directed by Ridley Scott, who returns to the Alien franchise after years and years and years and years. And this movie takes place after Prometheus, but before Alien, so there's a ship called the Covenant that has a bunch of couples on it going to colonize a planet so they can start a new life, but they go on a different course because of a space storm, and they are led to a place where they find a ship, the ship that was from Prometheus that had Elizabeth Shaw on it, a character from the last movie, and things take turns from there. If you've seen an Alien film before, then you know what comes next. This movie's getting a lot of divided opinions, and I fall into the camp where I'm kind of in between, where I like the movie, but there are things that I didn't like about it either, and I didn't really come out of the movie feeling like super enthused or excited for a sequel, but I enjoyed thoroughly my experience for the movie for the entire time it was running. First things first, Ridley Scott is a great director. He knows how to visually make a film pop, and every single frame is like a painting. No matter what, this movie is like a mix between horror and sci-fi, and Ridley Scott relishes in those genres. And it's some of the most beautiful horror and sci-fi-ishness you'll see in movies in a while, especially this year. The acting all around is really good. There's a lot of throwaway characters in here that you don't get to know anything about, so when they become fodder for creatures, it's just kind of whatever. But the ones who do get time to shine are really good in what they're doing. Dan McBride is the biggest surprise here. He has a lot to do with his character, and when he has to actually show range, he shows it. Dr. Manhattan, aka Billy Crudup, is in this movie, and I really enjoyed him too. He's always good in movies. Some questionable things happen revolving around his character in the film, but acting-wise, he's really good. Catherine Waterston is also really good. She's on the up and rise right now, from Fantastic Beasts and Steve Jobs to this. And again, she proves her work in this movie where she could really carry a film with her performance. And then you have to, when mentioning this movie in discussion, have to mention Michael Fassbender, because he makes this movie. It's his movie. He's incredible in it. And in my opinion, everything that was creepy about this film was because of him. Not because of the xenomorph. Actually, the xenomorph is kind of something that I didn't care for in this movie. But everything involving him, without getting into spoilers, was incredibly compelling. Also terrifying, eerie, thought-provoking. It also is kind of a cautionary tale, in my opinion. If you haven't seen an Alien movie before, androids are gonna fuck us up. Let's not make those, okay? Just avoid androids altogether in the future. Just have some scientists watch the Alien movies or Blade Runner, and you can see that, yeah, it's fascinating shit, but it's not a good idea. Definitely not a good idea. But the overall plot, I wasn't the biggest fan of. I like the idea of couples going to a planet to colonize, and they happen to go on this planet that connects with the characters in the story a little bit from Prometheus. But some really interesting things from Prometheus get thrown to the wayside for really no reason, and for the reasons that they do throw it away are kind of ridiculous or silly. The direction they go in with the plot, in one way I really like. I could buy into it, but in other ways I'm just kind of like, you wasted opportunities and potential for things that could have been really spectacular and really thought-provoking and meaningful, but they just kind of went, eh. It was cool seeing a xenomorph on the big screen again, but I really, in the grand scheme of things, and in particular to this movie, I didn't care for. Yes, the movie's called Alien Covenant, so of course there's a xenomorph in the film, but the xenomorph, surprisingly enough, for me, was the least surprising and fun thing about this movie. There were other creatures, though, that I was more terrified by, like the neomorph. But without giving anything away, they put focus in places where I thought there should have been less focus, and if they put more focus on a thing like a neomorph, I think the movie would have been, at least from a horror perspective, more terrifying, because the design of that thing and the way it maneuvered, whoo. One more thing I could say before I get to my consensus is that the ending of the film, if you are an experienced film goer, movie lover, you will see this thing coming from a mile away, but it was still effective regardless. Even though I'm not excited for what comes next, the ending was effective enough to have me still thinking about it 48 hours later. So having said all that, overall, Alien Covenant is a fun enough and creepy enough sci-fi horror flick that brings you back to the good old days with the xenomorph, and it does bring and dabble into the worlds of both Prometheus and the old Alien flicks. It answers a couple questions, opens up some more questions. The characters are, in my opinion, better than Prometheus, but there are a lot of characters who were thrown away. It's more just a fun monster flick, watching who's going to die next. Alien Covenant is a good movie that could have been really great if it just focused on different aspects where there were no focus, or less focus anyway. So I'm going to give Alien Covenant a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's a darn good Applebee's meal. And now I want to know from you guys, what did you think of Alien Covenant? Let me know in the comments down below. If you understand what I'm talking about without actually giving things away, are there also use spoiler tags if you're going to talk about this. Do you agree with me, or do you actually think the direction they took and the approach they took was warranted and granted, given the direction they've gone in since Prometheus? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this review, please like, subscribe, and check out the rest of my videos so you can always get caught up with what I'm reviewing. And also check out my social medias down below. I'm John Maffio, aka Cartman, aka a really bad impression of Cartman. I'll see you guys next time.